Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today's the 7th, 8th, or 9th of January. What is it, Monday?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
The 8th.
It's January. It's 2018, and it's 2019, and it's the 8th. At any rate, I'm in a subscriber's trailer, motorhome, and his name's Garrett. And it's a strange thing because I was in a store last night, the one store in Death Valley, and I bumped into a subscriber, which happens quite often, is what it is. So I got my truck parked. There's a campground. Apparently all the national parks are closed down because of the government shutdown. Whatever. Who cares, right? At any rate, I'm parked last night. It's really dark, Death Valley. And there's a bunch of people here because it's like an oasis. There's nowhere else to park. Long story short, I'm trying to go to sleep. I've got my tent set up, truck's all set up, blah, blah, blah. I'm filtering water, and there's a bunch of country folk strumming away on a banjo. Now, to some people, maybe that's a melodious tone and it's helpful. To me, it made me absolutely irate. Absolutely irate. So, in the dark, I break everything down. I move my truck about, I don't know, 100 yards away. I can still hear them, but I deal with it, go to sleep. When I wake up, my new friend Garrett, photographer, mobile home, blah, 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 says to me, do you see that truck right in front of you? It's a Toyota FJ Cruiser with a 𝗃𝗃 rooftop tent and a big sticker on it that says, I survived the Paradise fires. So I just get to California, and right off the bat, I run into a couple, Jasmine and Tim, who are now living out of their vehicle because, fortunately, they were able to escape from Paradise. And I'm going to let them talk. Just get to California, and right off the bat, I run into a couple, Jasmine and Tim, who are now living out of their vehicle because, fortunately, they were able to escape from Paradise. And I'm going to let them talk. How long have you been living out of the truck? When did you guys have to bail and get out of Paradise?
November 8th.
November 8th.
2018 was the fire.
So, break it down. Tell me what you were telling me. What happened?
Yep.
So, wake up in the morning, do our normal thing, had to take the dogs out to go to the bathroom, noticed, holy shit, there's a fire.
So you guys didn't get a phone call?
No warnings, no text messages, no nothing.
Nothing whatsoever. Even though I was getting text messages while doing a live video talking about why is everybody getting a 911 call. We got one for the people that actually needed it. You guys got no warning.
3 adults, all Verizon wireless, had full reception, not a single warning.
He found out through social media.
Yeah, I found out through social media that it was time to get the hell out.
Okay.
And so we noticed, oh shit, there's a fire. I go online, figure out the fire is about 40-minute drive from us. And it's near a swimming hole that we used to always go to. Figured, okay, we're probably safe. There's going to be high winds, but we'll just be conscious of it.
It's a 40-minute drive.
It's a 40-minute drive. We'll be okay. Jasmine and my mother go to work.
So the fire was behind you. So
yes.
Technically you should be able to get out of town and stay ahead of it.
Ample time.
Because it's a forest fire. It isn't a rocket.
40 miles away. 40-mile drive. It would take us, I mean, as a crow flies, not nearly as far, but 40-mile drive. So we're good. So she goes to work, and I'm
about
watching.
2 miles from our house.
2 miles from now.
So not very far.
She goes to work, and it just gets bad. To the point where I walk outside, my neighbor's hosing down his roof. His son's picking up a flaming piece of wood that just fell out of the sky, and he says, nope, we're leaving. So they're taking off.
Flaming, any idea how big?
Piece of wood. It was
not an ember.
No, it was a shingle. It looked like a wooden shingle that half of it was totally fine, and there was one edge of it that was just on fire. And so they opted. About this time is when Jasmine finally got home from work. And during this time, I'm loading our vehicle with camping gear, thinking that, okay, we're going to be evacuated and we'll be gone a couple days and we'll come back to our home because this is how it works around here. The fires should be maintainable.
So you just by karma, you guys just happened to buy a very similar truck to mine. Because you were interested in going camping, off-grid, overlanding,
7 days.
What are the odds?
I don't know, but we appreciated it because our other vehicle would have broken down in the gridlock, and we would have been those poor souls running with our pets trying not to burn alive.
Did your other car get smoked?
Yeah, a 97 Ford Escort and a 1941 Oldsmobile.
Oh.
With 20,000 original miles.
Oh, irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You were mentioning that the windshield had melted.
Oh, yeah.
The windshield, the glass, the safety glass they use in the windshield, which has a melting point of like 2,700 degrees, melted, turned to liquid.
My 97 Escort didn't have any glass on it. There was a lot of stuff
Almost
on the
every car
ground.
we saw didn't have glass. Where there should be glass.
Okay, but the other strange thing you did notice is that there was a lot of trees, and like the forest fire seemed odd, no? Because the forest didn't really burn. The forest got singed from the buildings. Is that what you were saying?
It was.
I don't want to lead you either.
No. It was literally, it was mush. Houses were just mush because there had been a rain afterwards. Maybe who knows? But there was a terrible rain right afterwards where they were where they were having flash flooding in the area, and so all of the houses resorted to a gray mush where it used to sit. Maybe part of a garage door panel survived, things like that. But it was a gray mush. But there was bushes that survived just outside.
Our lawn looked fantastic.
My grass was green 5 feet away from my house.
Our lawn looks fantastic. Now, on my channel, I realize you guys didn't follow my YouTube channel previously, but I've shown, and others have shown, numerous patents going all the way back to the mid-'60s where they're going to control the weather. The Air Force put out a PDF file, I think in like 1997. If I'm wrong, it is what it is. Where they wanted to control the weather, owning the weather. I mean, Russia, China, other countries have already come out and straight up said, we can stop the rain or we can make it rain. One of the two. It's using electronic frequencies in the atmosphere. Right. For instance, we're in Death Valley. Several people, there were the stars last night were covered in a cloud layer, and the sunrise this morning is the same thing. The chemtrailing here was unbelievable. There should be nothing here. The only lights in this area are this actual place. Other than that, it's just wide open desert. And you couldn't see the stars, somewhat, a little bit. Garrett was showing me we were looking at the Orion last night. But it wasn't like it should have been whatsoever at all. And using this stuff works with... If you're going to smoke a town using directed energy or whatever it exactly it is, whatever they used that wasn't natural, the best way afterwards would be to make it rain. And apparently they did. At any rate, it's still early. I've only had 1.5 coffees. Go ahead.
But yeah, so we were staying with friends in Chico, and they opened up our zone. So we were fortunate enough to go back and be able to see the remnants.
What do you mean when they opened up your zone? The military let you in?
Yeah.
Is it it's the military that's up there, right?
We're not sure. National Guard is up there most definitely.
Guard,
and
when's the last time you were back?
It was
it was before Christmas.
We went to Paradise one day, and it was maybe a week before Christmas, and we were in Chico waiting. Luckily, they allowed us to go see our home. It was one of the last zones to open up, and it was the day that they just said, "Okay, you guys can come in." I believe they opened all zones up.
But it was how many? What is that? 6 weeks after the event?
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed in there. The military, and from what Jamie from A Plain Truth YouTube channel came up with, they were talking to locals, fire chiefs. I told you this already. Tow truck drivers and such. The military locked it down right off the bat, and the local police were kind of pushed to the side. And FEMA was already there setting up the.
FEMA was there. Well, the PG&E, there's a golf course in between Chico and Paradise on the main run-in called Skyway. And that golf course was closed down because they're building new housing. Luckily, there's going to be a lot of people to be able to fill those houses now. But so they had a PG&E setup there because 2 months before the fire, I don't even know if you know about this, but PG&E was doing a clean sweep. They were just coming down and cutting trees down 15, 20 feet away from lines. They were investing hundreds of crews into this. It looked like a concentration camp, but really it was just a staging area for PG&E. And then they converted that into a staging area for the workers who came in afterwards and cleaned up. But we knew it was a scary situation because PG&E was investing ridiculous amounts of money in work crews. Like, work crews were coming in from everywhere, chopping down trees. And then the night before the fire, we didn't get a message on this. Social media told me because somebody else received a message.
PG&E was hitting you guys up days before saying they might shut the power down, though, correct?
The night before, they said that they were going to shut the power down to the whole city. And people were freaking out.
As they should be. As they should be.
And everybody was selfishly worrying about their own agenda. Like, but I work from home. How am I going to do this? And I was thinking, this looks like a very desperate act to me. They're scared. And everybody was worried about their own selfish reasonings. But I just knew, okay, shit's going to happen.
It's a strange thing because we had an event, you might have saw it on the news, where a town called North Andover. You have a relative in Andover, right? My stepmother's from North Andover. Excuse me. And out of the blue, an entire neighborhood started exploding. They had a high-pressure gas line that apparently there was a problem, but the computer didn't see it, and the computer overrode it, allowing high-pressure gas to go into people's houses. And I think it was about either 19 to 27 houses exploded. But think about the psychological damage. Now you're sitting at home. You don't hear. There's no warning. There's no nothing. You're just living your life, and then suddenly, I find it strange that we have an unprecedented, never seen before gas explosion. I was a plumber.
Right.
I got thrown out of school in the 10th grade. I went straight into the trades back in the 80s. I was a plumber. I've done gas, residential, high pressure. I worked at General Electric in Lynn. When you're working on high pressure gas, your only concern is make sure when I'm done, it's no longer high pressure when it gets where it's going. It just seemed really strange to me that we have a utility, and it was Columbia Gas Company. Columbia is a huge idol in the occult, hidden hand, Illuminati, secret government, whatever. I never heard of Columbia in my life. Columbia was the public utility that was getting blamed for blowing up this entire neighborhood. And then PG&E is the public utility that's getting blamed for burning down absolutely everything. And it's funny because I don't think there's any recourse. You can't, like, what are you going to do? You're going to privatize it, make it federal? I find it strange that Paradise has gold under it still that's been unclaimed. And I find it strange that Paradise has, if you overlay a map for a train, a high-speed train, it goes right over Paradise. But the thing that absolutely blows me away with all the wacky presidential tweets and emergency testing and 911 going down, nobody got warned. And the people, did you run into any of these cars where there was remains in them?
By the time that we were able to access Paradise, there was very few burnt up cars, because evidently what happened is the streets were lined with cars, and then to provide access and easement for emergency personnel, they brought bulldozers in and just bulldozed all these cars out of the road.
Wow.
And there was very few cars left. So they were bringing them out, and by the time we got there, it was mainly just a bunch of PG&E guys trying to get power grids back up.
Like I said, a YouTuber named Jamie, his YouTube channel is called A Plain Truth, and supposedly Shelley's had a couple of fire captains, fire chiefs, whatever, I don't know. But these guys were pros. That's what they work with wildfires. They're not, they're familiar with them. And they said that all of this was crazy. Absolutely, like trees burning from the inside, not one or two, but everywhere. We were talking about this earlier. You actually said it, which surprised me. A microwave cooks from the inside out. It excites the molecules so fast that the friction creates heat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It would cause trees burning from the inside, and that's exactly what we've seen.
Especially if they figured out a way, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if they could do that and the sap inside the trees, it's not only flammable.
It's a fuel, right?
It's a fuel, but it's also, I'm pretty sure it's got water in it as well.
Right, and also, from what we've seen, like this is my first time out here. From what we've seen, these guys are out here harvesting the trees. Like they're taking this lumber, and ordinarily they'd have people that are concerned about the environment, global warming, etc. Like the biggest hoax in the world. The more trees you take, the worse you're going to make this alleged condition. But that's exactly what they're doing. How long have you guys been living out of your car now?
I think, well, since the event, we've been bouncing around. We've stayed in hotels a couple nights. Just
how long have you been not home since
November 8th?
Since November 8th.
Wow.
Yeah,
has anyone reached out to you to help?
You know what? I contacted a Instagram account, Overland Marketplace, that I follow, and I reached out to them asking if they knew anybody that was selling a discounted used rooftop tent, and they said that they didn't deal with rooftop tents, but they know some people, so they'd get back to me.
Asking, I mean, that's the Overland community. That's why I'm in it. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Oh, they step up.
It's usually people like me, you, Garrett, where if everything, like I was thinking of this when I first got here. Imagine if something went down. First of all, we wouldn't even know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Second of all, what better group of people would you want to be with? Living out of your car is definitely doable, but it isn't easy. No. But your circumstances, I mean, I'm doing it by choice. You're doing it because it is what it is. Fortunately, someone hooked you up with a rooftop tent, which makes life that much easier.
Yes.
But we're going to hook you up with some more people to make life a little more easy, if that makes sense. Whatever. So, I'm saying, like, Red Cross, FEMA, local, nothing?
FEMA, my mother dealt with FEMA, and she received a little bit of aid. But, I mean, my mother is 57 years old. She just went through a 3-year...
Your mother's 57?
Yeah. My mother's 57 years
old. Damn, dude.
And,
I could... that's... Whatever. All right.
But she's dealing with a divorce. She had a 3-year divorce. And so she dealt with the majority of the money. She did give us some. I mean, granted, it wasn't a lot, especially considered...
You guys are basically... Your savings account's pretty much...
Yeah, we've diminished it about $6-7 grand because I mean right off the bat we weren't equipped to be homeless, so we had to go and we had to buy. We found ourselves in Salt Lake City or in Moab, and she's curled up in a ball because the law of thermodynamics is winning, and she's about to freeze to death. So the very next morning we had to go out and buy $500 worth of cold weather gear.
No, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just made a video yesterday when I was talking about the Native Americans in Navajo Nation, how I come out west a couple times a year. I always come out in January, and I couldn't believe, I was telling you that Arizona, New Mexico, Moab, snow. These people aren't used to this weather, you know what I'm saying? And it all ties in together. But at any rate, I'm going to hook you up with supposedly Shelly, and more specifically, a plain truth. What is it that you guys need more than anything? Is there anything you can think of, or?
Right now, the thing that's costing us the most is fuel.
Yep.
We've been
talking about it.
We did a little trail run yesterday because this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're hemorrhaging money and
I hear you. And you can't. We gotta be aware of
cautious,
breaking stuff.
We're on 9 days in this campsite here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to save money. We'd be remote somewhere off grid.
No, I'm hip. I know you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, a plain truth. Shoot me a text. I'll give you their info, and you guys can look to hook up. And anybody that wants to help them, shoot me an email, rjcjr10@yahoo.com. We will get that done. I got to hit the road, so I'm not going to make this video go on forever, but this was not a natural event. Melting windshield glass, maybe if it happened once or a couple times, everyone's reporting it. The mainstream's reporting it. 2,700 degrees sustained. You've lived off, you've built a campfire. All of us have built a campfire. How fast does fire eat wood? It's amazing. You can sit there all day.
When we went back,
yet half the place, the forest is still there.
Yeah, when we went back, it didn't look like a forest fire had went through our town. It looked like our town was hit by like bombs or something. It looked like a war zone. It didn't look like a fire.
What everybody's saying.
It looked like the houses caught the trees on fire.
That's exactly what the fire guys on supposedly Shelley's channel. Yeah. I apologize. I suck with names. They said the houses were burned and then from the burning from the houses, the trees were getting singed.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fire was the houses and then the forest, and they're telling us the exact opposite. I know it sounds crazy, but I've shown you, other channels have shown you ridiculous amounts of directed energy and other alternative Tesla-based weaponry that works with the stuff that they're spraying, so forth and so on. Anybody you want to say something to that might possibly see this?
No.
Thank you to JH Off-Road and
Thank you to
Tents.
JH Off-Road. Yeah, you guys saved our lives. You guys provided us a home. 𝗵𝗿 Tents gave them the go-ahead to donate us a home. And
thank you.
Without it, we would be curling up in a ball in the back seat.
There you go. FJ.
All right. Everything will be in the description. Richie from Boston, Jasmine, Tim, Garrett, thank you for letting me use the camper. Jamie, hit me up. I found him.